Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Promised End podcast. This is Zar from Chundari Beats.
And this is John from Oh My, It's John. And today we are gonna talk about one of the craze currently. Yeah, tama ba, Zar? It's gonna
Tama.
be one of the craze, or not gonna be, it actually is happening right now.
That's right.
It's about Ragnarok Online. Yep.
Yep.
So, ang Ragnarok Online is a game. I think we talked about it when we were talking about our MMORPG episode, right? So, we talked briefly about it back then, but right now, since it's all the hype here in the Philippines, we decided to talk about Ragnarok in full detail. So, let's get it on. So, Zar, can you give me a brief rundown of what Ragnarok Online is?
Well, Ragnarok Online is like one of, if not actually the most renowned online, massively multiplayer online role-playing games here in the Philippines. I still remember when I was back in college. This was early 2000s. Ragnarok Online came out, and everybody was clueless, like how to play it. And none of us knew how to actually play an RPG online before. An online RPG before, I mean. And Ragnarok Online sort of introduced us to that world. And that's one of the main reasons why there's still an appeal to it after all these years. Basically, you have your basic classes, and then you have your advancement. You have a guild system as well. It's everything that we've ever wanted in a fantasy game back then.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on further on what Zar said about the class advancements, etc., here's another brief rundown on what Ragnarok Online is. For those people who's curious as to what Ragnarok Online, or what are the roots of Ragnarok Online. So, basically, Ragnarok Online is a Korean MMORPG, and it's created by Gravity Co. Ltd. based on the manhwa Ragnarok by Lee Myung-jin. If you guys know Lee Myung-jin, then good for you guys, because he didn't actually made it off as a manhwa artist, not that big as the mainstream manga artists or other manhwa artists, but Lee Myung-jin made it through a different platform, which is the game. So it was first released in South Korea on the 31st of August 2002 for Windows, and since then it has been localized on tons of other countries, including here in the Philippines. I think it started here in the Philippines around 2003, if I'm not mistaken, right? Right, yeah. It's 2003, around mid 2003.
Yes, around that
the game
time.
was spawned. What?
Yes, around that time, 2003.
Yeah, exactly. Then it spawned a lot of animated series like the Ragnarok the animation and the sequel game Ragnarok Online 2 Legend of the Second. Sadly, Legend of the Second didn't really fly, and before that there was another Ragnarok Online 2, which is Gates of the World. Gates of the World actually looked more Ragnarok-ish, if pardon me for using that term, but Gate of the Second tried to be a Japanese MMORPG look, or I don't know, it tried to be something it wasn't, so it didn't really fly off that good. But again, Ragnarok Online, the original Ragnarok Online, again, even now here in the Philippines, where they just re-released the game, man, it's still a big hype. So yeah, Zar, as Zar said earlier, there were a lot of classes in the game. Can you tell me more about that? About those, whatever, any classes or all the classes, please.
Well, you start with the basic novice, of course. This is sort of the starting job. You don't
What
really
is a
have
novice?
you don't really have any skills. Basically, the skills that you gain as a novice, they're like the party skills. Basically, allowing you to interact with the world, such as being able to organize a party, being able to create a chat room, being able to sit and recover your HP and SP. That's actually the only thing that's related to
And being able to talk
the
to the
gameplay
NPCs,
itself.
you said that?
Oh yes,
Being
yes.
able to talk to the Kafras, etc. In which the Kafra is like the storage and the all-around support NPC in the game.
That's right. They're
So,
like
yep.
a very big corporation in the game. They handle teleportation services, storage services.
And all the Kafra employees are like girls.
Yes, maid
For
in
some
maid
reason.
outfits as well.
In maid outfits. So they
Yes.
really thought. They really know about their target market that time. So anyway, yes, continue on, Zar.
And once you complete your training as a novice, basically once you reach job level 10 and spent all of your skill points to gain all of your basic skills, you will then be eligible to upgrade to a basic class. You have how many? 6, I believe.
6.
You have the swordsman class, which is your basic fighter class. You have the thief, which is also another frontline class. But you know, the swordsman
revel in high defense, right?
That's right. And the thieves, they sort of dodge. They actually rely on dodging instead of, taking hits. Now, those are the 2 frontline classes. You also have the archer as your long range class, as well as the mage, the long range spellcasting class. And then lastly, you have 2 support classes. You have the merchant, who can, sell stuff at a higher price. They can sell it to NPCs, the skill overcharge.
And buy
buy
stuff at
a
much
lower
lower
cost.
price.
That is right. And
They also have the ability to set up vending stalls in order to sell their own stuff to players.
that is correct. And once you play Ragnarok, you'll see a lot of them in cities. Now,
Yeah,
lastly, yes.
But
Lastly,
currently, right now, we're actually playing the game, and right now, Frontera is just congested with tons and tons of merchants already.
that's right. A lot of them are just, selling their stuff. Most players have a merchant as their secondary character so that they can sell, the loot that they got from, exploring dungeons
Hunting.
and stuff. Yes. And
What else? The last class.
lastly is the best support class in the game, of course, is the
Yes,
Acolyte.
last but not the least. Definitely not the least.
Basically, an Acolyte can heal you, of course, and give you buffs. They can also cast a debuff, which is decrease agi, slowing down enemies.
And actually, their buffs, the buffs, for example, blessing or increase agi when cast on undead, they can actually produce different debuffs for or that take effect as long as it's an undead enemy. Also, because it's undead, whenever you cast your heal as an acolyte on an undead enemy, instead of the undead taking or rather regaining HP, they lose HP instead. So your heal becomes an attack spell whenever you use it against undead. Yep.
That is correct. Now, of course, in the vanilla game, there's also second job classes.
Secondary advancement classes. Yep.
You have 6 of them as well. 1 for each class. You have the knight for the swordsman, basically an advanced melee fighter. can wield spears and two-hand swords with deadly efficiency. They can also ride
Yes.
peko birds, like they're
Yes, the
giant
Peko
birds.
Pekos are basically enemies, but once you reach the your knighthood, if I may, if you reach your knighthood, you can be eligible to ride the Peko Peko, and they actually grant you a permanent move speed increase as long as you are riding them. And once you get a certain skill, which are masteries for riding, you can gain your attack speed back because there's a penalty whenever you ride a mount. So they cost skill points, more skill points than usual. We're gonna talk about skill points and stats later on. Next, Zar.
Next one is the assassin class for the thief. Basically, this is also a melee fighter, but he has a lot of tactical options. Basically, he can now, aside from hiding underground, of course, that's a thief class. Basically, hide. They can mask their presence. An assassin can now move while hiding, and this is the cloaking skill. The assassin also gains access to, the assassin gains access to a unique weapon class, which is the Qatar. The Qatar weapon basically hits with the right and the left hand. Basically, with the left hand, dealing
It's
weaker
basically
damage.
what do you call that? A two-handed weapon. It's basically a two-handed weapon.
That's right. It would appear like you're dual wielding when you use
Yeah,
it.
it appears like you're dual wielding. And not only that, assassins can actually dual wield if you put on some skill points on the left hand and right hand masteries. It allows you to dual wield. And what do you call this?
Basically, your double
Benefit
attack.
more from the cards. Yeah.
That's right. And your double attack skill carries over to that dual wielding assassin.
If you used a dagger for your main hand,
That's
the
right.
double attack carries on, because once you go with the Qatar, you'd lose your double attack for some reason. I find that weird.
Mhm.
I don't know why you have to lose your double attack as an assassin. When wearing a Qatar.
In a way, I think it's a balancing act because it's kind of OP if you think about it. Especially
But there's the snake hat,
yes, especially
and
with the
that
snake
actually
hat.
breaks the game.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because even if you're not a Qatar assassin, you can basically deal like 1,000 damage in like your DPS is so high you can deal like 1,000 damage, even though you don't have any luck. Because actually, Qatar assassins, they are very popular for their ability to do critical damage. And because once you're wearing a Qatar, your what do you call this? Your natural critical doubles. So even though
Yes.
if you have only like, for example, you have 45 luck and you only have 15% critical, 15 critical stat. Once you wear a Qatar, it doubles. For some reason, it doubles,
That's right.
and that alone makes the Qatar assassin one of the deadliest fighters inside the game.
Now, for the range classes, you have Hunter for the Archer. The Hunter excels in long range attacks, basically same as before with the bow, but now the Hunter also gains an animal companion, much like the Knight with the Peko Peko. The Hunter
Except the-
gains the Hawk,
Yeah.
or the Falcon, I'm
Yep.
sorry. The
The
Falcon.
Falcon.
And he can
The
actually
Hawk?
attack with
Really?
the
Really,
he can
Zar?
actually attack
Hawk?
with the falcon. But well, in real life, hawks are sort of tamed. Some people tame hawks for attacking. But yes, with the hunter, the hunter gains a falcon. He can actually use or command the falcon to attack or detect enemies. Detect hidden enemies. And also, the hunter gains access to a variety of traps that he can use against enemies.
And
So-
these traps are actually really deadly.
Mhm.
The calculation for damage for traps, if you want to be a deadly trapper, actually you need some int stat. Again, we'll be talking about stats later on. But a trapper is really one of the deadliest class archetypes of the hunter.
That's right.
And there's also the Auto Blitzer, in
Mhm.
which you use your Falcon to deal like auto damage whenever you do basic attacks. This is basically a very fast type. Think a Legolas fast type ranger rather, or hunter rather, and together with a falcon attacking, you're going to be dealing lots of damages per second. So it's one of the most popular builds as well.
That's right.
And again, just to reiterate, you can the falcon is a companion. It's a skill like the Peko Peko, but the Peko Peko does not attack, and only hunters have the ability to attack using their pets.
That's correct.
Hmm.
And the other range class would be the wizard. Now that's the advanced class for the mage. Basically, the wizard gains access to a lot more spells, basically more deadlier spells, and a lot of them have area of effect damage. You have Storm Gust, Lord of Vermilion, and Meteor
Meteor
Shower, I
Storm.
believe. Meteor
Meteor
Storm. There you
Storm.
go. Yeah. So
And these spells are very, very crucial to mid to end game fights, especially when you guys are gonna hunt boss hunts, or if you're gonna do boss hunts, because there are mobs in game. It makes it easier for you to pick out the boss from the mobs, and of course, when you are trying to level up, your main tanker, can just provoke the mobs, and as a wizard you can just spell away using AoE spells. Just remember to attack the frozen enemies.
that's right.
Attack the frozen enemies and stay at the back.
That's right. You have no right to attack them up front. You and always, always only attack the frozen ones. Oh my god.
Yeah, Zar is actually triggered because some guy from CBT tried to teach him how to play his class.
Oh my. This person.
Let's not talk about that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe another time we can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
another episode called "How to Trigger Party Mates by
we
Being
should,
Obnoxious and Annoying."
yeah, we should do a double special of Ragnarok this week. Like
Yeah,
just to
let's
cover
talk
a lot
about
of all of these.
let's talk about experiences next time. Let's try to cover the basics first.
Now, for
Okay.
the support
After,
classes,
yeah, support classes now.
now we have the blacksmith for the merchant. Basically, if you thought that the merchant was important before, when a merchant turns into a blacksmith, they're doubly important. Like
Hmm.
they can, aside from forging weapons, because they're the only class that can forge elemental weapons. You know, they can give regular weapons an elemental attribute, allowing you to deal more damage against enemy monsters who are weak against the element that your weapon has. Now, also, a blacksmith is an excellent fighter.
Yes.
The blacksmith gains
Forget about
access
the
to.
thing about merchants not having the ability to really dish out damage. Once you turn blacksmith, you're basically a killing machine at this point.
Blacksmiths have access to a lot of offensive buffs.
Yep.
And
And these are party buffs as well.
that's
So
right. That's right.
Your whole party can benefit from your buffs.
That is correct. And basically, having a blacksmith in a raiding party, just raises your chances of success overall across the board, because all of the melee fighters, even the hunter, the ranged fighter, will gain a tremendous benefit from his offensive buffs.
Weapon perfection, power thrust. What else? There's another skill I forgot. So these are buffs that greatly raises your capabilities to attack and deal damage better and perfectly. Especially
Right.
weapon perfection, because it takes away like size modifiers. Even though you're wielding a dagger, you can deal full damage. It's one of the nuances in Ragnarok. We're gonna talk about it maybe later on. So yeah. Also, blacksmiths can not only forge and what do you call this? Um, the element,
Yes.
endo element to your weapon or give element to your weapon, but they also have again because their stats are greater, they can benefit more from cart revolution. Or another thing for merchants and blacksmiths that uses their cart instead of vending, they're going to use it as an attacking mechanism. So that's a huge plus as well.
That's right. And now, lastly, we have
Again,
the
but not
priest.
the leastly,
We have the priest, which is the
It's
advanced
basically-
class for the acolyte. Now, the priest is probably the most important part of a raiding party because the priest provides full support. You know, like healing,
healing.
buffs, HP regeneration, SP regeneration, damage, increased damage, all of that stuff. A priest can provide that. You know, increased defense across the board. Everybody benefits from having a priest in their party.
Mhm.
Okay, it's like,
And if all else fails, they can resurrect dead players.
yes, they can also resurrect people. Any dead player in the ground, they'll be able to bring that guy back. So they're a very important part of any party, any raiding party, any guild. They must have priests because it won't be complete without them. You know, any endeavor in this game will fail if you don't have a priest to back you up.
Yes.
You need
Tsar
you need a
really
priest.
loves priests
Oh man,
so bad.
it's because I rely on them so much.
Yeah, you even have your wife make a priest, man. What the
Yes.
fuck?
I rely on them so much because I'm a
Because he's a
thief
noob.
class. I'm a
Because
thief
he's a
class.
noob.
No. Any melee character in this game, they need the backing of a priest.
When I was a thief,
To
I
be
didn't
able
have
to-
any priest to back me up.
Well,
True
you have
story.
your elite siege boxes, okay?
I have my elite siege box.
You have your siege white potions and your siege blue potions. So
No.
don't-
When I was a thief, I actually, guys, for those for those people who are already playing the game and are listening to the podcast, I had my novice potions till I was an assassin. Boom,
Yep.
bitch.
I still have mine as well. I still have my novice potions right now. But of course,
But you know
It's-
assassin, bro. You know assassin, bro.
it's faster to level up as long as you have your acolyte with you.
Yeah,
So
actually,
always
that's
really have someone, have a full support acolyte or priest or whatever back you up. I'm not exaggerating. Okay, that's that's important. That's basic stuff.
imperative.
That's basic
That's
stuff.
basic stuff. He's triggered so much. Yeah, he keeps dying.
I don't. Okay, because I have an acolyte with me, so I don't.
You don't because you have your wife with you. Saddy, sad. Well, anyway.
Oh my God. Protect me. Protect me.
What are you guys leveling up right now?
Oh, we're at the Sagrat Desert. Basically, we're fighting Sandmen. Just Sandmen, Hodes, all that.
And
Freldoris.
since we are in this topic, Zar mentioned that they are in the Sagrat Desert, so there's a desert view here, or a desert, what do you call this? Biotope. Yeah.
Yep.
Big word. Anyway. In Ragnarok Online, there are different biotopes, of course, different environments, and these are connected to the cities that surround them. We have how many major cities? 5 major cities? Let's
We
count
have-
them. So we have Frontera,
Mhm.
the major city, which is the capital of Rune Maidgard.
That's
We
right.
have that. Then we have... what else?
Pion.
Pion, the archer archer capital, or where all the archers are born.
That's right.
And we have
Morok.
Morok. the
Mhm.
desert city, which has, or rather, which is the house of thieves. Near them are the thieves guild and the assassins guild are located. So, yeah, there you have it. And there's a really big secret in Morok that I just don't want to spoil, or rather, let me just spoil. There's a big secret in Morok that involves a certain super boss, and it's gonna be known to a lot of players later on if you follow the lore of Ragnarok. Ragnarok has tons of lore. Anyway, back to the cities. After that, we have what?
Geffen.
Geffen. Yeah, Geffen, the home of the mages,
That's
where
right.
you can transform your novice into a mage, and surrounding that fucking area is a lot of tough monsters. I don't know why. There are a lot of tough mobs in Geffen. I don't know why. What the fuck?
We also
Anyway,
have. Lastly,
what
would
else?
be Alberta.
Yeah, Alberta, the port city of Alberta, where, of course, if you hear pier or port, you will think of money, and there's only one class in Ragnarok that's all about money, and of course, it's the merchants. There are
I mean,
other cities as well.
merchants even have an attack that spends money.
Yeah,
Mammonite.
Mammonite is one of the best attacking skill in the game, but how do you say that?
In
In return
exchange.
for, yeah, in exchange for really high damage,
Hmm.
you get to spend 1,000 zenny per attack. So, yeah, use your zenny wisely. Do not use them to kill mobs. Use them to kill bosses, guys. You're gonna deal 5k damage each Mammonite with a certain build. Well, anyway, there are again other cities as well. There's what they call there's Aldebaran,
Yes.
a city with a huge clock tower in the middle of it, which again holds another secret. Then there's Komodo, the beach city,
Hmm.
which is connected near Umbala, the another city which is connected to the roots of Yggdrasil. Again, Ragnarok is based on Norse mythology, so they have the Yggdrasil here. And what else? What else? Niflheim, if you consider that fucking area a city.
Yeah. Also, Glass Time as well.
Glassheim is actually the former capital of Rune Midgard,
Hmm.
of the world we are playing on. And for some reason, it got infested with tons of demons and undead monsters. So that's a cool lore again to it. And as Zar mentioned earlier, there are, what do you call this? The classes. There are the primary advancement classes, right?
That's right.
There's all further in the game. You're gonna have two classes. We call them two classes, or
Mhm.
secondary advancement. It's still like the second jobs, but an alternate. Yeah, alternate second jobs. That's what
That's
we
right.
call them. And let's just go through them really fast.
Yep.
So, for which do you started with the swordsman class, right?
That's right. For the
Okay.
swordsman, you have the crusader, basically
Yes.
your shield knight, basically.
hmm
Holy spells and high defense. That's all. That's what it's about with the
Basically, it's
crusader.
all about tanking, tanking, and
Yeah.
making sure all your party members leave the fray alive. You are gonna be the first one to enter the fray, and hopefully you are gonna be the last one to get out of it.
That's
That's
right.
your role as a crusader. You also have some healing spells and buff spells. Again, it's a very party-oriented class.
Now, next would be the John's favorite class,
Yes.
the rogue, which is
The
sort of a
rogue.
super thief. Super
Don't
thief
call it a
class.
super thief, man.
Well,
Don't
that's-
call it super thief.
Come on. Like, the rogue is a super thief. Like, he can strip weapons from you. He can strip your armor. He can dress you down until you don't have anything left in your
Yes.
equipment slots, and you'll be like, you'd be naked as a baby, and you'll die so easily.
And also, the rogues can do other weird things as well. They have the discount and overcharge skills from
That's right.
the merchant class because, again, if you hear the word rogue, you definitely think of like these gangsta people.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god, these are rogues, they're gonna extort me and stuff. And it's actually a skill you can use.
Oh,
There's
what about
actually
that?
Mhm.
What about that skill where they can steal other skills?
Yes, we can copy other skills, not steal other skills, Zar.
Come
That's
on.
too overpowered. Yeah, you don't steal other skills.
You
You
copy
copy other
them.
skills. Yeah.
There you
You
go.
can copy other skills using a rogue, and you can auto steal from mobs whenever you attack them.
There you go. Basically, it's like Lupin the
It's
Third.
yeah, it's a jack of all trades class. If you love just causing chaos in PvPs, in guild sieges, then you know what class to pick. Go
Don't
for rogue,
rogues
guys.
also gain? Don't rogues also gain some sort of weapon mastery as well?
Yep, sword mastery
Sword mastery. There you
and bow mastery. Again, we are jack of all trades.
go. And then for the hunter, or rather for the archer, you get the the dancer and the
bard.
the bard. Now
Yes, the
these
bard
are,
for males and dancers for females.
That's right. They work as a pair, basically.
Yeah.
One plays music and the other one dances. Basically, this class is very, again, party oriented. They mainly
These are
deal.
very, very important in parties. Seriously.
You have, they have massive buffing skills. Basically,
Mhm.
across the board, performance will go up, just like a blacksmith. These party members will boost your party's potential, and
to
make sure
really,
that you
really
guys
high
succeed.
level.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean that they can't perform properly on their own, because dancers have arrow vulcan and bards have this sling arrow, I think. I don't know. And these are actually good skills to level up if you're going the solo dancer, if you're going to be a gypsy or whatever. Which is actually the advancement class. Whatever. Then for the bard, bards are really useful because they have this skill called Apple of Eden. You have Loki Sunrise. What else? These are things that lower your cast time.
Mhm.
So mages can go wild because of
That's
these
right.
things.
Now,
What else?
for the mage, they gain the
Yes, another one of my
sage,
favorite.
of course.
Another one of my favorite classes.
For mages, they gain the sage. This is
Yes,
sort of a
the
combat-oriented wizard.
Mage. It's a combat
Com-
mage.
It's a combat mage. Basically, they even gain a mastery, right? Like they
For
have
books.
they have masteries, and they are capable of auto casting spells while doing
Yep.
something else. So,
And
these-
they can
these
move
guys are
while
awesome.
casting.
There you go.
That's the best thing ever. Because wizards can cast. They are confined to their what do you call this, cell. Whenever they cast, you can't move. But sages just fucks with that idea completely. And sages have, again, one of the best protecting spells in the game, which is Land Protector. It cancels out area of effect skills from being cast on the land protected area. So a lot of bosses and a lot of they are mages that are anti wizards because they want to keep the balance in check. Hence, and again, if you want to play and just fuck around with people, especially with mages, with other mages, go for wizard. Go for sage rather.
Go for sage.
Yep.
Now, for the support classes, we have alchemist for
Yeah.
the merchant. Basically, if the blacksmith crafts weapons, alchemists craft potions.
Yes.
And
Very,
you know,
very important. And they can throw the potions to players.
that's
as
right.
well.
They can throw potions. So basically, they'll be breaking potions on your head, but you'll be thankful. You'd thank
Yeah,
them for that.
you'd thank them for that. Basically, if you don't have a healer, you don't have any, you can't get a hold of a priest in time. These alchemists can be pseudo supports, can throw you potions, and sometimes even the potions they throw are heal, what, as
Stronger.
stronger, stronger
than a
priest
priest's
heals.
heal.
Yeah.
That's right. And also, the potions they craft, they can craft slim potions.
Yes.
And these potions are lighter than your regular potions, so you can
Yep.
carry a lot of them in battle.
Yes, very important in guild sieges.
hmm
Then what else? Oh,
Now, lastly,
now here we go.
now lastly,
The most
we-
overpowered alternate class.
Now, we have the Acolyte, right? Now, the Acolyte starts out as, your support class, basically healer, buffer.
Your weak healer, yes.
Yeah, they just stay on the sidelines. They just, they're not the hero, they're not the
Heal.
star. They just heal whoever's fighting in the front lines. But now this other class is, the path to this class is very hard. Very, very hard.
Yes, very,
It's the
very
monk
hard.
class. Now, it's the monk class. The monk class it's a melee fighter class for the Acolyte, and once you advance to this class, you gain access to a new type of weaponry, which are knuckles. They're
Fists, yes.
they're similar to the Qatar, in which you look like you're fighting with your bare hands.
Mhm.
It's very nitty gritty with the monk, but along with that, the monk gains a lot of offensive options and defensive options as well. It's like
Seriously.
the best well-rounded fighter in this game is
Yep.
the monk. And
Monk are really fucking overpowered because they have. Talk about that skill. That
oh
skill.
god,
Talk about
Now-
that skill.
the monk has a certain death skill. In PvP, whoever he casts this skill on will
And if
die.
he completes that fucking cast, he's gonna die. That he or
No.
she is gonna die.
We're talking about the infamous Asura Strike.
Asura Strike, you can call it Extremity Fist.
Extremity Fist.
Yes. See,
We were all
even the
laughing,
name,
when
man.
when this class was revealed, everybody was laughing at the naming convention because it was called Extremity Fist. And we
Extremity
were
Fist.
like, what the fuck is that skill?
Is it
but the-
that extreme?
And then when we found out, because nobody had, advanced far enough to get this skill, right? But the moment somebody got a hold of the skill and cast it, we were like, everybody respected the monks,
Yep. No one
They
really fucked with the
respected-
monks.
they respected them up front, but hated them behind their back.
Yes. It's like, okay, we're friends. Don't EF me, please. Everybody was begging to not get EF'd in the face, Asura'd in the face.
Just imagine a melee class with the support spells of the Acolyte and a ton of defensive and offensive options. A monk can actually cast a skill. I believe it's a steel body.
Still
And
body. It's a buff.
basically-
It's a buff.
Yeah, it's a
That's a
it's
passive
buff.
skill.
It's a buff that he casts, or he or she casts on himself. And what this does is it almost reduces any damage that the monk gets into. I don't know, laughable damage, basically. He almost doesn't take damage in this form. Whenever he's got steel, but the only drawback is I believe he can't. He's slower, isn't he?
He's slower. And
Yes, he's
there's also
slow.
root, where you can, the Japanese, catching the blades with your hands.
Oh yes. Oh
They
my
have
God.
they have this skill as well. When if you, for example, you get attacked, then some idiot just keeps on attacking you, just cast root, and then you freeze them in place together with you. But the good thing is you can cast a fucking Asura Strike in their face while they're frozen. So
That's
there's
right.
that.
I believe this was even called something else before. It was Blade Stop.
Blade Stop, yeah. It's Blade Stop.
Back in the day. And also, if the thief has the double attack, the monk gains access to triple attack.
Yes.
So basically,
There's also
3 strikes.
Yeah, there's a solid Asura build. Then you have your combo monk. These are actually for professional monks. These are really hard to pull off. There's timing required for pulling off the combos. But if you pull them off, you can fucking cast Asura Strike as the last part of your combo without the casting time. So, yeah, just do the
Damn.
math. And also monks can,
Again, this
teleport
class
in.
is like... Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They
This
have
class
the
is the
snap
hardest. It's the most
this is the
difficult class to master.
master. But once you get the hang of it, like, fuck. It just ruins everybody's day. And I'm
Oh.
not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating on that.
Yep. I mean, I remember back in the day, I was in a PvP match with a lot of people. And there was this one monk, right? The moment he cast Asura Strike on me, I actually teleported. I had to get away, but that did not save me. Even if I teleported away, the moment I landed, wherever I landed,
Yeah,
I got
casting-
killed.
Yeah,
The-
they removed that bug.
Oh, was it?
It's a
Was it
glitch, yeah.
removed?
It
But-
was removed.
It was like certain death back
then,
in the day.
Back then, yeah, that was certain death because it keeps on casting even after you teleported. But they removed that, so you can hide, you can backslide away from it, you can do, you can knock off the fucking monk off your shorts. But again, they have snap. You know what snap is, Zar? They can
No.
move really fast. It's like instant
Oh yes, I know
transmission.
that. Yes,
Fuck
yes,
that
yes.
skill.
That's their version of that's their other teleport spell.
Yeah, like a mini teleport skill.
That's
Where,
right. Yeah.
like 9 cells, you can move instantly 9 cells away, or omnidirectional. It's omnidirectional. You can move any 9 cells from your starting position. That's fucking broken, man. That's fucking broken as fuck.
This is like when the monk came out, they became the assassins. The
Yeah,
assassins
they
were
are
like
the new assassins.
the assassins became garbage.
Yeah. The only thing assassins can do is like sonic blow, and sometimes they miss. They have high criticals. They can assassinate squishier characters like hunters or mages, but they have sight. So again, your what do you call this? Your cloaking is useless. So basically,
That's
assassins became the weakest class.
Yes,
In the
it was
game.
there was a sad point during for assassins during this game, but that would be addressed later
Yeah,
on.
it was addressed by the advanced, or rather the transcendent jobs. We're gonna talk about the transcendent jobs later on because Ragnarok has until 3rd jobs, and we didn't even fucking talk about the other first jobs, which are the ninjas
Oh
and
yes.
the gunslingers,
The Taekwon boy.
and the
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo boy, even, and the super novice.
Yep, we even have a super novice. That's right. For
Yes.
people who don't want to grow up, who just want to remain a novice
Yeah,
forever.
for people that have weird Peter Pan syndrome, this is the class for you.
Basically,
Ragnarok is really large, man. It's one of the
Yeah.
If it's one of the best games, if not at that time, it's the best game
mhm.
that the world can offer you. It's really good. It's a really good game.
I'm really glad that we are playing Ragnarok again. So
Yeah.
shout outs to
Shoutouts to Extreme and to
Extreme.
Gravity for allowing us to experience Ragnarok the way it truly is meant to be enjoyed.
Mhm.
I'm not dissing the other company, but
But
you
thank
know your faults,
what?
guys. Guys, you know your faults.
Thank you very much, Extreme, for bringing this back. Because, I mean, I have unfinished business with this game. And I intend to finish it this time.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, this game means a lot. A lot of friendships were made over this game. A lot of, a lot of memories.
Even.
Yes, relationships. Some people even got married over this. So
They
this is
They got married in game. Then after
and in real
like
life.
years, then they got married in real life. And
Yeah.
some hearts were broken because they thought that one of the characters they fell in love with was a girl. But no. Shout out to Kamikaze for pointing that out.
Songs were made about this game.
Songs were made about Ragnarok.
That's
One
how
very-
special this game is to
This
Filipinos.
game is, yes, seriously. Thank you for bringing back this piece of art, this nostalgic feeling that a lot
That's
of
right.
people are missing already. So with that, we end this episode. I think we're gonna make another Ragnarok episode, so just watch out for that, guys. And if you like this episode of the Promise End podcast, be sure to subscribe by hitting that red button below the video. And what else?
We
the
have
bell button? Yeah,
the
the
bell
bell button. It's been so long since we recorded. Fuck, 2 weeks, and I forgot my spill. Sorry. So that be sure to also click on that bell button so whenever we have a new episode, you get notified.
That's
And
right.
you know, you can talk more.
And
We really hope
also,
that yeah, goes our.
we have our socials in the description. Visit our
Yes.
page. Visit our Facebook page. It's in there. Like it. And
Please?
follow us on Facebook. Follow
Like
us
it,
on Twitter.
please.
Also, my
Important to our livelihoods.
my personal page is in there. Facebook page for Chundari Beats. Facebook page for also John's channel. Don't forget
Yes.
if you want to get more of his content, go to his channel, give him some love. Subscribe
If you
and
want
like his
to,
videos.
if you want to just cry or cringe to a Filipino wannabe, PewDiePie wannabe, just go to my channel.
Also, our friend AJ stuff is in there too. So visit his links in the description.
AJ's the other guy for our Deep End podcast, and he also posts regularly the Deep End shorts, which
That's
you should
right.
actually look out for because the episodes for the Deep End shorts are really awesome. So
We actually had him. We actually had him on the last
Last week.
Promised End podcast episode about Gundam. So that was awesome.
He's another Gundam fan. These Gundam fans. No, I'm a Gundam fan. Sorry. I shouldn't mock my tribe members.
Tribe.
I shouldn't mock my
members.
tribe members. Fuck this Gyrat. He just doesn't want to fucking die.
We're actually playing right now.
Yes,
That's
we're
how
playing
much
right
we
now.
love this game.
Playing by recording. So, anyway, thank you guys for listening. And as always, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.